A special military unit is gearing up for an operation, heading to the governor's house. He calmly makes coffee and reads the newspaper. An article talks about hundreds of thousands of patients waiting for surgery in public hospitals, but the governor avoids the topic. The soldiers show the gate guard a warrant and enter the building calmly. The governor watches them and drinks his coffee, even as the unit begins its search. He remains calm, even when they bring him to the police station. In the evening, one of the soldiers, Miguel, watches a news program. The anchor says the governor has been summoned to testify about his involvement in embezzling healthcare funds. Miguel gets angry and clenches his fists. His daughter is sleeping next to him, and Miguel puts her to bed. She wakes up, asks for her iPod, and then asks if her father really arrested the governor. The girl is proud of her father. In the morning, Miguel goes to interrogate the governor. The governor refuses to say anything without a lawyer. Miguel reminds him that the healthcare system has lost more than $2 billion. Does the governor have nothing to say? The governor says that not a single mistake was found in the reports, and that any problems with the healthcare system were caused by his predecessor's incompetence. Miguel asks how the governor sleeps at night, knowing that he stole money and condemned many people to death. The governor smiles and tries to leave, but Miguel plays an audio recording of the governor's conversation, in which he orders to cancel the operation to arrest him, bribe the Supreme Court, pay whomever he wants, and even kill those who refuse to take the money. The governor's lawyer arrives. The boss sends Miguel and his friend to rest because they have worked so hard. Miguel asks if the governor will get away with it, but the evidence is too strong. In the evening, Miguel and his daughter's mother comes to see him. She thanks Miguel for watching the child and wants to talk to him about the soccer match. Miguel says that he and his daughter will watch it at home, but his ex-wife agrees to let them go to the stadium. In prison, the governor eats sushi brought to him by his lawyer. The governor asks if the people understand that he is innocent. The lawyer nods, and the governor promises to start a witch hunt as soon as he is released. The head of a special unit sends his soldiers to help relocate several dozen families from the emergency house, as there is a high probability of conflict. Miguel objects. It's not their specialty, but the chief interrupts him. The soldiers leave for the mission, and Miguel's friend says he will manage without him, because Miguel was going to a soccer game. After thanking him, Miguel leaves. He is late for a meeting with his daughter. However, he brings her a Brazilian national team t-shirt. They take a picture and hurry to the match. The same fans are walking around. Firecrackers sound, but suddenly a shot is heard and the bullet hits the girl. Miguel runs with his daughter to the hospital, but there are not enough doctors there. The operation is never started and the girl dies. A little later, the girl's mother comes running to the hospital. They cry together. Meanwhile, the court dismisses the governor, despite all the evidence and accusations. Sometime later, Miguel's friend comes to his apartment. The friend says that he did everything he could, but was unable to figure out who killed the girl. Anyone could have shot her from anywhere. Miguel is sure that his daughter was not killed by a stray bullet. The hospital did not even try to help. The girl died of a banal blood loss. A friend suggests Miguel take a vacation. He cries and listens to music with his daughter's iPod. At a press conference, the governor says that he has nothing to fear because the health of the nation has always been his priority. And the fact that he is being plotted against only gives him strength to continue his work. He assures that he will not let the people down even when he becomes president. Resistance provokes riots. Miguel watches the press conference report while jogging in front of a storefront. A rock hits the window. He joins the crowd of protesters, but when he gets closer to the police cordon, the police beat him. In response, one of the protesters throws a Molotov cocktail at the police. A real clash begins. The police use tear gas. Miguel coughs, but at that moment, a protective mask falls next to him. Miguel puts it on and transforms into the same Punisher. Thanks to his combat experience and skills, Miguel breaks through a line of police and enters the governor's residence, where he finds him under the table. The governor tries to bribe him, assuming that the guy is working for his political rivals, but it doesn't work. Miguel beats the man to death. Later, the same friend of Miguel's tries to identify the criminal who killed the governor using the footage from the surveillance camera, but he fails. The police bring the detained protesters to the police station, and one of them notices Miguel and recognizes him. Miguel also looks at the girl and realizes everything. Miguel's boss announces that they will be looking for a man in a mask, and through him, they will look for those who are interested in the governor's death. They need to start by interrogating the detainees. Miguel volunteers to do this and says that he will start with the same girl named Nina. He interrogates her and finds out that she is a hacker, but works in a comic book store. Her mom was convicted of fraud. They argue, but during the conversation she writes on a post-it note that she sees him and says she has video evidence on her phone. The members of the party to which the governor belonged are discussing who they will nominate to replace the murdered man in the upcoming elections. They eat beef, laugh, and enjoy life. The head of the Gomez proposes to nominate his son, who has no criminal record, and threatens everyone that otherwise he will influence the security forces and party members will go to prison. Everyone agrees to the proposal. Miguel finds Nina's phone among the confiscated ones, looks at the records, and releases the girl. His friend is surprised because this is not the right thing to do. Meanwhile, the girl goes to work, where she searches for all the available information about Miguel on the internet. When she is walking home, Miguel stops her car and offers to talk, but Nina does not agree until Miguel starts blackmailing her with information. Miguel says he just needs the names of the others involved in the governor's criminal scheme. Nina hacks into the governor's laptop, and Miguel gets the information he needs. He sets up a hideout in an abandoned building and kills the corrupt officials one by one. Information about this appears in the news. Part of society supports the actions of the Punisher. The police chief is outraged that they still can't catch the lone killer. Miguel's friend begins to suspect that the Punisher is a policeman because he works too cleanly. To eliminate the new target, Miguel is going to infiltrate the skyscraper where the minister will be staying. While he is on his way there, his friend suddenly realizes who will be the next victim and sends Miguel a message asking him to come to the place immediately. But the guy does not notice the message because he is already making his way into the building. Meanwhile, the minister meets with Antero Gomez, and the latter offers him a bribe to stop prosecuting politicians as part of an anti-corruption operation. However, the minister refuses the money. At this point, Miguel's friend arrives at the scene and tries to warn Miguel. At the same time, Miguel receives a phone call from Nina. This creates a disturbance, and Miguel accidentally bumps into his friend in the corridor. A chase through the building begins, and Miguel is injured. The minister survives. Miguel calls for Nina and asks her to sew up his wound because he can't reach it himself. Then they discuss the next target, Antero Gomez. But it is very difficult to get close to him. Miguel needs the police chief because he also collaborates with corrupt politicians. The police chief realizes that the Punisher is not acting alone, but is being helped by a hacker who controls the cameras. Miguel and his other colleagues discover new information about the late governor's machinations, but their superiors order them to shut down the corruption investigation because the minister ordered them to do so due to lack of evidence. They need to concentrate only on the killer in the gas maze. Everyone is outraged. During a dinner party, Antero Gomez, surrounded by his new associates, discusses his son's upcoming promotion to a work position. The boy becomes nervous and runs out of the room, saying that he is not ready for such responsibility. The father and son have a conversation, and Miguel keeps Antero Gomez in his sights. At the last moment, the son suddenly hugs his father and the bullet hits him. Despite the death of his son, Antero Gomez decides to turn the situation in his favor and run for election. Meanwhile, his men find out where the hacker who helped the Punisher was coming from and come to the comic book store. However, Nina is not there, and her colleague dies instead. After a while, the girl enters the store and runs out in terror. She is put under surveillance. Meanwhile, Miguel's ex-wife comes to his friend Miguel and complains that the guy just disappeared after his daughter's death. The friend is surprised because Miguel said he had seen the girl several times. Moreover, he was with her when his friend was catching the Punisher. Nina leads Gomez's men right to Miguel without him noticing. A shootout ensues. Miguel eliminates all but one of them. He takes Nina hostage and offers a deal. The Punisher has to eliminate Gomez's rival Antero during a debate, and then Nina will stay alive. When Miguel's friend arrives at the abandoned building, there is no one there. However, he finds an iPod and recalls that the gadget belonged to Miguel's dead daughter. The guy summons Miguel's ex-wife for questioning and confesses to her that the Punisher is probably Miguel. During the debate, Miguel is about to fulfill his end of the bargain and eliminate his rival, Antero Gomez, but his friend interrupts him. They fight, and the friend says that he knows who is hiding behind the mask of the Punisher. Miguel takes off the mask, and the friends argue about what the real vocation of a policeman is and who the real enemies are. A friend says that he will not allow Miguel to kill a man. A shot is heard. When the broadcast is interrupted, Nina manages to kill her captor and free herself. Miguel is detained in an interrogation room. His ex-wife speaks to him and explains that he has gone completely insane, and their dead daughter would not be able to live knowing what her father did and what he has become. The Punisher's actions unexpectedly provoke a very high turnout at the polls. Antero Gomez wins over Miguel, who has been sitting in a cell all this time. Miguel is brought to the interrogation room. There, he is beaten by his former colleagues, and the police chief says that Miguel did not act so badly, he just chose the wrong side. After all, corruption is an important part of the state system. The police chief walks away, telling his subordinates to finish. Then one of them eliminates his partner with a shot and is going to shoot Miguel, allegedly in self-defense after he killed the agent. After a short fight, Miguel wins. He disappears, taking the weapon and the mask of the Punisher. Miguel is going to destroy Antero Gomez. Destroying everyone on his way, Miguel gets to Gomez. The politician talks to him while quietly loading his gun, but Miguel shoots him before he finishes loading the weapon. Later, Miguel blows up the building with him.